Hey everybody, it is Kai, and I know a lot of people have been asking me about my Lupina Melody list, so I might as well deliver, you know? I haven't done a deck profile in a while, and might as well just start talking about it, right? Oh yeah, big shout outs as well to I think Machine Blau, who made this program. It's Cardfight Vanguard Plus, which makes basically showing these kind of deck lists out very, very easy. Alright, so if you watched my stream, my Twitch stream, you will see me sometimes take this deck out. It is not exactly the same deck. I did do some changes for this more updated list, so this is where it's really at now. So I'll go through the list, I'll talk about the core stuff, the important stuff, the flex stuff, and the stuff that you could probably change if you really wanted to, though there is not much you can change because it's just so packed, so many good cards. So alright, let's start. Let's talk about the core. Let's talk about the main hero. It is Lupina, alright? So Lupina's the new this one, the new Tony Tucker art that got released for Vanguard. Basically, she's like Mordred on steroids, just makes huge columns. I know, Mordred, you know, you can play a lot of Blast of Darks and get a lot of force markers. You know, Lupina just gets melodies, and melodies seem to just go with everything, right? So we need 4 Lupinas. You just really want to ride this. This is your main ride. This is your only ride, pretty much. Don't worry about Sonatas. That's a rear guard. Don't worry about Caro. That's a rear guard too. But yeah, she basically can help you set up, get another force marker, and then just restand. Alright, really easy. The other grade 3s are 4 Sonatas, so we know about this one, this old grade 3 Melody Sonata, and 4 Caros. Now, if you've been keeping up with the metagame, you see that Plon decks have cut Caros a bit, the good ones at least. They've cut Caros. They're favoring on the 4 cannon playstyle, which is needed for that deck, because that deck just works by soul charging everything, and then you get everything. This deck you don't soul charge everything to get everything, because you don't have a Vanguard that says I have every single effect in my soul, right? So you just need melody bodies. You need things that say melody on them and they give power. So that's pretty much it. These are the 2 cards that give power. Sonata gives power, Caro gives power. There's no Fina because we don't care about defense. Alright, doesn't give power, and that's that. So the other melody card we're also running is grade 2 Sonata, because she gives power as well, right? So ideally, you want to ride Lupina and then get a bunch of these guys out. They'll have boost, they'll have a billion powers, and attack 5 times, right? Easy idea. The next, your grade 2 lineup, you have 4 Dagnies and 3 Lieselots. So this is the part where you can kind of change. You can play 3 Dagnies if you want, and 4 Lieselots if you want to high roll, because every time you play Lieselot and hit a melody, you just feel amazing, right? Your first turn, Lieselot comes out, bam, hit a melody, you're winning, right? Next turn, Lieselot comes out, hits another melody, you just feel so good, right? If you don't hit a melody, you can hit one of your searches, which is also kind of okay. Worst case is you get like a Sedna or Lupina or whatever, or just a trigger. You can soul charge it. Do remember that this is a kind of a soul heavy deck. Lupina herself requires a Soul Blast 2 to use her first effect, and then her Rosalina uses Soul as well, so it can become Soul heavy if you don't get a Dagny. This is where, you know, your Dagny and Lieselots can also work together. This can just get you a Soul that you might just need, and that's pretty much it. So dual purpose. Dagny not so much, but Dagny is very important for when you're playing against people who know what your deck does and want to deny damage so you don't get that first CB to be able to just pop off. If they're doing that, then Dagny, you've plopped out a Dagny, put a force marker on it, and then your Lupina has a crit and swings with that kind of pressure, and they're forced to either take it or guard it. And if they take it, look, you're dealing damage, and you're going to be doing so much more damage when they finally give you 1 CD, right? And then your grade 1s are basically everything that is tutors, right? You've got your Lupina tutor, your Dagny tutor in Rosalina, and then you also have your Miep, right? Miep, that searches out your melodies. Now, Miep does have an effect that allows you to pay via soul. Now, you don't have to. You don't have to pay via soul. If you have extra counterblast and your opponent has just been giving you counterblast very freely because they don't know what you do, or they just don't care, you can just, it might be a better idea to pay Miep with counterblast 1, right? Because overall, your deck is not very counterblast heavy, right? You only need 1 CB for your Lupina, and then that's kind of it. So it's generally kind of advisable, if you know that you're going to be eating a lot of damage, to just pay counterblast 1 with Miep, and just get your searches out that way. And this basically hopefully converts into one of these melody units that you can just pop out for game and win, right? And then your Sednas, okay, this Sedna was a flex slot for me. I was playing something like a Steza, just because, you know, extra draw is nice. You play Auroras. In the end, Sedna is still pretty good. She's a 13k boost, or just a 13k attacker overall. If you pop a Force 1, becomes 23. And then it helps you get Lupinas, right? Rosalina is only a top 5 search, so if you miss that, sucks. If you get another Sedna, then at least it can get you Lupina. And then lastly, your trigger lineup is just a crit, 4 draw, 4 heal. I did play 12 crit before, right? I played 12 crit before, but again, these draws early game and help you draw into your melodies, into your Lupinas, which is very important. And overall, since we're moving more into a Plon metagame, where like Plon is important, your 30k shields are less relevant. Sure, they're still good against Gurgits, but you know, the draw is still pretty nice. It helps you sustain. And against other decks, if they don't give you damage, then you definitely live one turn. If they give you damage, you could just demolish them, right? You could just demolish them. And that's pretty much it. Now, the main game plan of this deck is 1, ride your Lupina, right? Ride Lupina. And then the second game plan is to pop down as many melodies as you want, or as you can. And it's very simple. That's all you need to do. This deck can literally go from like 0 melodies to just getting a bunch of melodies and just dealing a lot of damage in one turn. That's the crazy part, right? The Lupina top 7 surge can snowball into something else, it snowballs into something else, and yes, it can go from nothing to something. You have a Miep in hand that can turn into something as well. So overall, your aim is to get 3 melodies on the first Lupina ride. That is pretty much the critical mass, right? You want to make it so your opponent cannot guard your attacks easily. So you want to hit over like 20k shields to force them to drop 2 cards to guard. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Very easy. If you hit those kind of numbers with like 3 melody cards, kind of. So like a Caro Sonata and a grade 2 Sonata. That's like what? 18 by itself, 23. So that's 23. If you pop a Force 1 on that, that's a 33, and you've hit that nice little threshold. Do you go Force 1 or Force 2? It is really up to you. If your hand is terrible with no melodies, you probably go Force 1 just to hit those kind of thresholds, and you're basically looking at a 2-turn kill. If your hand is just monstrous, you're hitting those thresholds without Force 1, or you have like 4 melodies in hand, or you go into 4 melodies, or you think you have the potential to go into 4 melodies, right? Just go Force 2, right? Force 2. If your opening hand is what, like triple Sonata, that's like a pretty good Force 2 hand, right? Because you're hitting like a 28k on like a grade 2 or grade 3 Vanguard. That's a 20k shield. They can still 1-card guard that, but remember, you have a restand going for you as well. So you can restand 2 columns, then they suddenly hit like trucks, so there's Caros boosting it, and that's how you destroy them. Like, you have to remember the first grade 3 ride, on your first turn, you only restand 2 cards. So your front rows, you're basically just restanding your front rows. But if they hit big enough, then go Force 2. If they don't hit big enough, then go Force 1. Like, if you see no melodies, right? No melodies, then go Force 1. But do keep in mind that on your restands, your attacks will definitely get bigger. And hopefully on your second grade 3 ride, if you ride a Lupina, then you definitely get 4 restands going. But if you don't, then hopefully you can still bust 2 again. And then you get like 3 restands of 1 column being absolutely huge, right? Other thing is that, yes, I did talk about the damage deny thing. Do keep in mind that your Dagny and your Rosalina, they need force markers on them to give them power. So I think Rosalina is like the least priority. You don't really care about her as much. Dagny is kind of important, especially when you get damage denied, because you don't want to put a Force 2 on your Vanguard. You just want Dagny to give a Force 2 or give a crit to your Vanguard. And then I like to just put in like a melody behind as a booster just to make it hit massive, and still like pressure your opponent, right? Pressure your opponent, so he can't just take that attack for free. Otherwise, if you're just setting up a full melody board, then you don't really have to worry about the Dagny, but at that point, you're already kind of doing your restands, so you don't really care about your Vanguard column as much, and if you trigger a crit, look, it's still good times. Where this sits in the metagame, the whole reason why we built this deck is so that you go fast, and you go big and go fast, right? Against the Gurgut, which goes off at turn 4, this deck can go off at turn 3 and just demolish them, and that's basically how the format really is. The other big contender right now in Bermuda Triangle is 4-cannon Plon. That can also high roll pretty bigly as well. But in terms of consistency, like, it runs 18 grade 3, so they have like really weird grade 1 and 2, so they can brick on that front. But the part where Plon has an advantage over this deck is that both the Sierra and the Miep can search their Plon, while only your Rosalina can help search the Plon. And you do have 2 Senders that can help you do that. I mean, not the Plon, the Lupina. The Rosalina and the Senders can search the Lupina, but the Miep doesn't search Lupina. So that's the big difference. So in terms of consistency-wise, they brick in different ways. You brick if you don't get Lupina, you're just playing a Melody deck by then and hope you draw into the Lupina. Plon just kind of doesn't get its grade 1 and 2s at some point, and they have to G-assists. And yeah, and sure, they can still miss their Plon, but they have slightly better searches. So I think it's really up to you which one you want to change. Yeah, again, the biggest changes here is just you can change the draw trigger into a crit trigger if you just want to go YOLO, 12 crit. The Sedna can be changed to something else if you like Aurora's more, or you just want something else, a waifu card or whatever. Yeah, you can replace the Sedna. And then I think the biggest other changes, you can like run something like 3 Dagny and 4 Lieselot. It's really up to you what you want to do there. I know some people talk maybe you cut to 3 Caro just to make it a bit more stable, and then you have an extra slot at the Lieselot and all that. So you can do that too. I think that's okay. Again, the Sonatas are just way more important. So that is pretty much the deck. It's not that complicated. You just go brr and you destroy your opponent and then hope you don't brick, right? Let me know what you guys think, and I will probably answer them in the comments, right? Just post in the comments below. Hopefully I've answered your questions finally, right? You finally see the list. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, bye.